Hello battery metal fans. 2 weeks ago, on the back of one of my videos on grade, opex and capex, I had some very interesting discussions. Now, one of those discussions in particular was very interesting, and that came from Howard Klein at RK Equity. Howard also co-presents the Lithium Ion Rocks podcast with Rodney Hopper. If you're not a subscriber to that, I highly recommend you check it out. It's very insightful. Howard had several suggestions for me, some of which are going to take me a little bit longer to get to grips with, but one of them I could look at fairly quickly. That was the idea of looking at recovered grade, and that's something that hadn't occurred to me before, and it really underlines the importance of your comments, so please do keep them coming in. So let's get into it. Recovered grade is the actual metal content of ore determined after processing. To be clear, this is not the product grade. This is the theoretical grade of the ore after the mill has recovered all the metal it can. So essentially it's a way of combining recovery and grade into one metric. I was planning that this video would show you the correlation between recovered grade and capex intensity and opex for hard rock carbonate, hydroxide and concentrate projects. Well, best laid plans and all that. Just as with grade, there was no correlation between recovered grade and capex intensity or opex, as these 6 charts show. This seems to support a hypothesis that different variables have different weights of influence for different projects. But that wasn't what was interesting. As part of this exercise, I took my updated grade curve for hard rock lithium projects, shown here. This is a larger number of data points than the previous version of this diagram, and again that's thanks to listeners' input. I took this data and reduced it into the projects where I could calculate the recovered grade, plotted both grade and recovered grade on the same chart, and kept the original definition of high, mid and low grade. And here it is. Now, the first thing I noticed when I was reviewing this chart is the shape is counterintuitive. I would have expected to see higher grade deposits having a smaller gap between grade and recovered grade. The higher the grade, the better the recovery, right? Wrong. This chart shows just the opposite. So what's going on? Now, because higher grades are a larger number, if recovery rates were the same for all grades, we would expect to see a slightly bigger gap between the two plots at the high grade end, but certainly nothing this large. So to investigate this further, we took the average recovery rate for each category of high grade, mid grade and low grade. Here we can see that the high grade projects have recoveries that average 73%. This compares to 76% for mid grade deposits, while lower grade deposits have higher recoveries, 81%. Lower grade projects appear to have better recoveries than high grade projects. The lower grade deposits tend to be the clays or non-spodumene pegmatites, so it could be that there is a metallurgical reason based on the mineralogy of these deposits, which means they have higher recoveries. Or perhaps these projects grind finer, so they get a better recovery. Or it could be a sign that higher grade projects can afford to be more conservative with their recovery rates used in their feasibility studies. What do you think? Please post your comments below. You can follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter, and you can download all our research for free from our website.